organizers for kindly giving a chance for my participation in today's conference. And as a Ukrainian lawyer and co-founder of Civic Hub initiative group Kick Russia Out of the UN, let me speak in Ukrainian. Дякую за увагу і
So, thank you for the intention. I believe that it's not a coincidence that today's conference is taking place on the eve of a very important event, which is anniversary of the ratification of the UN Charter. As we know, that took place on the 22nd of August, 1945. And it is not coincidence that the day when the ratification papers were provided to the US State Department is currently marked on the 24th, and that was the last ratification that was necessary to enact the UN Charter. Because we have to say that in the beginning of the active phase of the aggression, Ukraine faced the question was holding accountable for Russia, the main perpetrators of the aggression, largest aggression in the 21st century, and everything that is taking place with the use of the medieval tools. In fact, Ukraine has faced with a choice. She could either go to the ICC, but the counterpart has already explained the limitations of Chapter 8 of the Roman Statute that Ukraine has not completely ratified for unknown reasons to me. On the other hand, there is an ability to establish a special tribunal based on the decision of the UN Security Council or with the support of the UN Security Council. The third possibility is the establishment of the ad hoc tribunal. I did not participate in taking the decision. As a lawyer, I don't fully share the views on what choice was made, but talking on the matters of the protection for the heads of state and government, the possibility for holding them accountable, we should take into consideration the court practice as well as the procedural norms for the court of the tribunal. Since we are talking about the ad hoc tribunal, it would be hard for us to say which exactly norms which judges or international arbiters will be carrying. They had a wonderful description of the possibilities provided by the international law. Jeffrey Nice, who is far more patriot of Ukraine than some of the other lawyers that I know, because we, the Ukrainians, still have some sort of issues on the international platform. We still say that the prophecies can be made only by some other countries, while Jeffrey Nice supports the idea of using the national tools for bringing to justice or holding accountable and identifying the sentences as well as the compensation. Because when we're talking about the special tribunal, there's two cases. First is holding accountability for the crime committed, as well as the identification of the fair compensation for those affected as the result of the crime. And in our case, that would be millions of Ukrainians. For many years, the initiative group of Get Russia Away from UN says that we need to stop the unjustifiable participation of Russia in the UN and in the Security Council of UN, since there's no legal grounds to support this, and the experts of the international law are fully aware of that. And our ideas are so much universal on the matter that the issues of establishment of an ad hoc committee, tribunal are not working. Because why are we referring to the establishment of an ad hoc tribunal? Because for certain reasons we can't get reference from the UN Security Council for the ICC to start the comprehensive investigation and prosecution of the perpetrators of the crime of aggression. Why aren't we referring to the international tribunals that took place earlier and they were established with the support or in accordance to the decision of the UN Security Council? Because we clearly understand that Russian Federation will use a veto right. Should we consider the matter of holding accountability to the other heads of states and government? We've already heard about the tribunals of Rwanda, Kosovo, former Republic of Yugoslavia, and others. In many cases, they were either established and operated under the decisions of the UN Security Council, which is something that is impossible for Ukraine, or they were taking place under conditions that the country that was culpable, or the leadership that was culpable, they agreed voluntarily to give away some of their officials to stand trial. We understand that this requires a complete and utter change of the political elite and the situation in a certain country. Therefore, should we apply for the tools that are outside of the support of the UN Security Council, which is the only body that, under the UN Charter, whose authorities were ratified in 1945, then we take a very kind of a dangerous road. We don't know the consequences. One of the statements mentioned US and other partners. Truly, Ukraine is not in the vacuum. This is something that is happening, everything's happening together with our partners, and our partners, they have the majority in the UN Security Council, and they're not really interested in the establishment of a special tribunal, because who knows, maybe later on they would be considering their own cases. For example, there was a military operation in Iraq, and Ukraine, together with its partners, participated in this operation. There was no decision of the UN Security Council on that. Therefore, there's no chances that somewhere in future there would be a special tribunal in that case. Now, do we have 100% support from our colleagues from other countries, members of the UN Security Council? It's hard to say. This is why I've started my briefing with referring to an event that took place many years ago, but still it has an impact on the situation in Ukraine as well as the situation around Ukraine. Now, should we refer to the current legislation of Ukraine, we have to point that there's only several decisions. First is the statement of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine of the 25th of February 2014, then a statement or an application of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine on recognizing the jurisdiction of the ICC. Then we have to mention another statement as of 14/04/2022 by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine on the genocide of Russia in Ukraine, as well as the application of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine as of the 7th of November to the UN, to the General Assembly, to the Parliamentary Assembly on the establishment of a special tribunal on the crime of aggression against Ukraine. Unfortunately, we're still not a fully fledged member to the process, which is taking place in accordance to the Roman Statute of the ICC, but we can see that this process gave the only positive result out of everything else. There's already an arrest warrant for Putin on a very specific case. The other actions did not result in any practical results. Therefore, the initiative group Get Russia Away from UN calls upon the others to use the available resources and take the shortest and the most understandable road for the Ukrainian lawyers. That is the position with regards to the ICC. For that, we need to implement one of the scenarios that the members of the initiative working group has developed. These are the most prominent experts of international law in the world. This is the path leading to the termination of the unjustifiable participation of Russia in the UN operation. This will open the possibility for transferring the case of aggression to the ICC for consideration of the genocide case and for considering the case of identifying the compensation. Could be at the level of national and international level. It could be done through the mechanisms that are already available, because as part of ad hoc tribunal, the ICC has its own secretariat, regulation, procedural norms, and these norms have been tested many times on certain cases. Or it could be the establishment of a special tribunal under the aegis of the UN Security Council, which already has a number of court practices and case laws that were already mentioned by the colleagues already mentioned before. And in this case, we would be able to use the experience that was already gained or already developed by many of the international lawyers, and we shall not be inventing the bicycle once again. Therefore, we are suggesting to take the short road, to take the simplest and smartest way without establishment of new artificial bodies, but by using the mechanisms that were already used in the international relations and that are fully compatible, according to the majority of the experts, that are fully in line with the norms of the international law. Therefore, we have to point the following. In the very beginning of the new phase of military actions, Ukraine has submitted a claim to the International Court of UN. What's the situation with the application?
Excuse me, Maxim, we're about to finish the panel. Yes, we cannot discuss all our tools, so I offer the participants to think that the choice could be made with certain limitations, let's say. Okay? Thank you for attention. Thank you so much.